Well, hello, my friends, and welcome to the next video in the Create Better Content series, where I show you how to tap into your creativity so that you never run out of content ideas again. I'm Penny, and I'm your guide through this creative content development process. I'm going to be teaching you how to stop feeling lost about what to post and how to start taking action to reach more customers online. And if you'd like to learn more about creativity and how this can help you develop your content marketing plans, I would love to see you hit that button and smash that button, as they say, smash that button and subscribe to this channel. So let's jump into it today. We are continuing to celebrate International Ideas Month. And with this video, I'm going to share with you about organizing your content ideas, because it's not just about putting dates in a calendar. You want to use a tool that's going to help you stay consistent with your messages and help you stay on path so that you can reach all of your marketing goals. So let's jump right into it. Today I want to talk about content calendars. So for those of you who are not familiar with what a content calendar is, it does not necessarily have to be a physical calendar. It could be something digital. It could be in a Google Excel spreadsheet. However you work, as I always say, there's no right way, there's no wrong way to do this. It's just your way. And the really important thing about the content calendar is this, that if you set this thing up the way that you work, so if you're a digital person and this is the way you like to work, then you will have more chances to stay with it and there will be less excuses involved. So that's a really important piece that I wanted to start out with. But basically what our content calendar does is it's got key dates on it, launch dates, when things are going to happen. I'm going to promote this product here. I'm going to start this service here. This is a seasonal promotion that I'm going to be doing. All of these things get put into our content calendar. And I mean the big stuff and the small stuff. And, we want to think about all of the pieces and parts that we're going to use to plan around it. So that's what I really want to talk about. I don't want to just so much talk about the idea of using a content calendar, because if you have spent any time listening to me or anybody else talk about content, I think by now you know the importance of a content calendar. But what I really want to talk about are those pieces and parts of the content calendar, the major milestones that we're going to be looking at, as well as all of the other things that are involved. Because when we look at the big things in our business, and I'm talking about major milestones, I'm talking about when you launch a program, when you've got a product, a new product that you want to be sharing, when, like I said, if there's something seasonal that your business is promoting, these things don't exist in a vacuum. There has to be some sort of pre-promotion. There has to be some things that you're doing along the way. I mean, you don't just open up and out of the gate go, hey guys, I'm selling this program for $5,000. And I know you didn't know about it like 2 weeks ago, even though I've known about this for, like a year, so this is what the content calendar's purpose is. It's more than just putting these major milestones on there. What the content calendar can do for you to be really effective with your content creation is to make sure that you are bringing along your community along this journey. You're bringing them through your email list. You're bringing along the people who are following you on Instagram and TikTok and Facebook, wherever else on this journey that you're taking them, where you can let them know that this is happening, that this launch is going to be happening, that this new product is coming out, that I'm going to be doing something live this week, or however it is that what you're doing that you're going to be talking about. So when we look at our calendar, however we plan on it, whether it's a paper calendar or a digital, like I said to you, no right way, there's no wrong way, there's only your way. You're going to start out originally with these key dates, these major things that you are planning around. And then from there, you take a look at what's going to happen to lead up to this. So the content calendar is a really great visual way for you to think about how you're going to plan out this month, how you're going to plan out next month, and maybe the next month after that. And before I jump into this a little bit more, let me start with one piece here that I'd like to say. When it comes to the content calendar, I am a big fan and keeping it to about a 3-month time frame, possibly 4, depending upon your business and how it works. I personally am not a big fan of doing the whole 12 months. I understand that a lot of people will sit down and do the whole 12 months because that's, makes them see that they can see the whole plan. And I get that. And I can certainly understand the importance of seeing all of your big dates throughout the entire year, especially if you are working towards more launches, if you're working towards more product developments and things like that. But for me, and for most of the clients that I do work with, we tend to stay within a 3-month time frame. I tell you what, if there's anything that COVID has taught me, it is that what you think is going to happen in January is not going to happen in December. I mean, how many of us knew going into 2020 that the year would start out January and February one place and then March take a turn, and by April it was completely different. So by the time December rolled around, if I would have planned out this content calendar and tried to stick with it after dealing with all of the changes in my business and the changes in the economy and the changes in the country, quite honestly, I would have been in a really bad marketing position. So as I said to you before, let's just look at like a 3-month time frame, because I feel like 3 months is a good enough time for you to, good enough is, that's terrible English, is a 3-month time is a good amount of time. Thank you. A good amount of time for you to look through what I need to work on, what I should be doing, and moving towards a goal. And so each one of those months is going to have a milestone to it. It's going to have a major milestone to it. And what you're going to do within each piece of your content calendar is to work up what's going on in between those milestones. So it's going to help you think about how you're going to plan out this month, the next month, and then the month after that. And of course, you're going to want to make sure that within each of these months, you're going to include all of your social platforms that you're on. If you write a blog, do you do videos? Do you send out newsletters? You are going to include all of that stuff. And so when I look at some people's content calendars and it's like this tiny little box on a calendar, that's just not going to work, because that doesn't give you the space. It doesn't give you the room to really work through the planning. So if we look at the content calendar, it's more than just a bunch of dates on it. You want to be able to say, this is the week for pre-promotion. This is the week that I'm going to send out this email, and then you also could back up a few more weeks beforehand and say, well, how am I going to get everybody on this email list? This is the week to get everybody on the email list. So when you start to see these things, and I always recommend that if you've never done this before and you start doing this, make sure that you're in a position. If you are going to do this by paper, use a pencil. Do not use a pen, because I assure you that the time that you spend starting to write out pre-promotion, write out your timelines, write out your launch dates, things are going to get shifted, things are going to move around, and you're going to be erasing things. So when you do it digitally, it makes it a lot easier to start moving things around. So if you're going to use a paper version of it, and I can speak to myself personally because I do use paper, use a pencil when you first start to sketch everything out. So you're going to want to take a look at all of these things, and that includes, like I said, the big milestones and all of the steps that you need to take. So when you are going to become really effective with this content calendar, you'll be able to wake up and go to your desk on Monday morning and see what's listed here. This is what I need to be working on. If this is the week that I'm going to get everybody on the email list, what's going to be in that email message? Do I need to create some sort of free content information for them to download to get them on the email list? So that has to be done that week, and that gets included in your content calendar. This is the week for the content upgrade that I'm going to create because I want to get people on my email list. So you can see just that sentence right there. There's no way that would squeeze into some tiny little box on a calendar. You want to make sure that you have enough room to write all these down. As a matter of fact, like I said, I use paper. And so what I end up doing is I have a piece of paper and I have the week at the top of it, and then underneath lists all the social platforms that I'm on, all of the blog. Then there's a blog, and then there's videos that I'm doing, and all of that stuff, so that I have the space. Now, if it says blog on there, I am not writing my entire blog post in the content calendar, but I am putting the topic prompt. What am I going to be writing about? What is its purpose? How is it related to everything else? Is this blog itself going to be a part of something? Let's say I want to email. So then if I know that I want to email it to everybody, then this blog has to be done at a certain time. So that goes on the content calendar. The completion date of this blog, so that it could be completed on a Wednesday, so that the email can get sent out on a Saturday. So then the Saturday gets listed on the content calendar as when the email gets done. So you can see the point of the content calendar is to basically give you a path to follow. And you can look at it and you can say, okay, this is the week that I am creating this. I'm doing an email. I'm finishing the blog post. I'm going to do a video. And then I'm also going to make sure that I share this blog post and I share this video on Instagram. So all of these things need to be listed in the content calendar. And I highly recommend that you actually put them on a specific day. If you really, really want to get sticky about this, by all means say this is going to be done in my writing block from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. or however you work. I'm just throwing out things here. But definitely give yourself days. Put a written commitment, so to speak, about when this is going to be done. When is the deadline? What is its purpose? What is this connected to? How is this all going to help me reach these great big milestones, these launches, these seasonal products, or whatever it is that your business is doing? And so every single week you'll be able to say, well, there's this, and there's this, and there's this, and there's this that I have to do. And then you can follow that path. And when you follow that path, you want to basically make sure that you're reaching your goals. And I think when we look at our content calendars, and if we're just putting these like, Instagram day and LinkedIn and Facebook, I could look at that and say, what does that mean? What does that mean? What is the point of all of that? But I'm asking you to push yourself a little bit further with your content calendar, because if you really, really want to be effective with this and you really want to stay on your path, you really are going to have to make sure that you add in as much detail as possible. And then don't just say Facebook on Tuesday. You're going to say, I'm going to do a Facebook Live on Tuesday, and then put maybe like a little dash or something, and then the Facebook Live on Tuesday, and then write to promote the content from the blog post and to get people to download the content so that they can get on my email list. Because that makes sense. That is very descriptive about what its point is, what its purpose is, and how it's going to connect you to your final goal, your big milestone that you're trying to reach. So as you can see, when I talk about content calendars, it's more than just having a calendar out and being able to write tiny little things in there like Facebook and Instagram. It's about really creating this path and understanding what it is you need to be working on, what it is that needs to get accomplished this week, and understanding how it's all connected together. And I can honestly tell you that when you begin to see everything in front of you written out like that, not only are you going to be able to make sure that you're not missing any steps, but you'll also be able to see if there's any missing gaps in there. If I went from A to C and I missed B, by looking at this visually in front of me, I can be able to say, oh, okay, I missed B in there. Where could I fit B in there? So maybe this gets shifted this way, which is why we use a pencil. Let's erase this and move this over here. We want to make sure that B gets in here so that I don't just go from A to C and that they're all confused about how they got to C. So you want to make sure that B gets in there, whatever B is to you. But I think you're following my example here. So be honest with you, when it comes to the content calendar, I would rather have too much information than not enough. And that's why I'm recommending that this is the best way that I would highly recommend. This is the way that I actually do this, and it has been a lifesaver for me to be able to get up and get to my desk and look at my calendar and know exactly what I need to be working on. And I know that when I accomplish these things, I am getting even closer to my marketing goals. So let me touch on a little thing to add to all the content calendar, just because I'd like to share something else with you. For those of you who've been following me long enough, especially on the email, and for those of you who are new to me, whenever you get stuck with something, especially as you're working on your content calendar and you're struggling with what should I be doing and how should I be doing this, where should this go, and you're struggling with all of these ideas in your head, my response has always been to people, well, just do something creative, and this is going to help you sort through this. And a lot of people are always looking at me like, I get it. You keep saying do this thing creative, but I don't know what to do. What is it you want me to do? So I wanted to share this with you as you're working through your content calendar. I wanted to give you a creative activity that's not going to cost you any money. It's only going to cost you some of your time. And when you do this little exercise, I promise you, you're going to be really, really happy that you did. So the exercise is this. What I want you to do is I want you to spend some time and slow down and light a candle. I want you to find a quiet place in your home, outside. Well, actually, probably not outside because you want to light a candle. Someplace where you can take time to review what's going on with your goals, review what's going on with your marketing plan, your big milestones, your content calendar. Think about all of that, and then I want you to put it down, and then I want you to walk away from it, and I want you to sit down in your quiet space. I want you to light a candle and close your eyes. I'm going to silence my voice a little bit here too, because I want to bring us down for a little bit. Because what's really interesting about this process, when you close your eyes and light a candle, is that something happens to you internally when you reduce your sensory input. When you close your eyes, this is when that happens. I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but about 80% of our sensory data actually comes from our eyesight. So when you intentionally slow down and you close your eyes, you move your brain waves into something called the alpha state. The alpha state is actually a very light meditative state. And I know that if anybody's ever meditated before, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You know that moment that you're in it, you're there. You're there. You're kind of in your head, and your whole body and your brain is just relaxed. So what I'm asking you to do is maybe for about 10, 15 minutes at the most, spend some time in that meditative state where you analyze less and your ideas will actually become more free-flowing. And what I recommend is what you do is when you come to your quiet space, is come there with a question in your mind. Maybe it's about your content creation, your goals, or trying to organize what's going on your content calendar. Any of those things. Don't just come there mindlessly going, I'm going to do this. Come with a question, come with a thought, and then just sit there with it. Let it come. Because there's a really, really good possibility that during this time that you're going to get some answers. And then I know another thing that happens too, because this happens to me as well. So you may be sitting there for your 10 minutes with, the quiet and the meditative state and with the candle going. And maybe you walked out of there just coming out of the meditation going, okay, I feel kind of calm and relaxed. But see what's happened now is when you came to this meditation state with this question in your head. And this has happened to me. I can't even begin to tell you how many times. But then maybe like an hour or two, you could be out walking your dog, or you're cooking dinner, or something mindlessly like that. And then all of a sudden, bing! Oh my goodness, I just got an idea for that email opt-in. That thing that I was marinating about when I was sitting there for 10 minutes? Your brain actually doesn't stop thinking. It's thinking and thinking and thinking. But when you trying to focus so much on it because you're cooking dinner or walking or whatever, you are allowing the idea to come. You are not stopping it from coming. You are not forcing it to come, but it will come. And it's at that moment that this creativity becomes an insight. So this actual exercise that I'm telling you right now is going to move you into this alpha state. And this is going to help you draw out more specific ideas, especially with your content marketing, your content calendar, your goals, any of the milestone. I promise you that if you try this out, you're going to find yourself in this place where you're going to have these ideas come to you. And then I always recommend that you keep a notebook, a pen, or a mobile app or something by your side, because what's going to happen is all of these ideas are going to come to you. And you want to make sure that you write them down. Because as I always say, what's the worst thing we tell ourselves? Oh, I don't need to remember that. I'll write it down. No, you won't. So make sure that you have something available to you. Because I'm telling you right now, when you combine the idea of creating a more detailed content calendar, and then when you get stuck, doing this one simple exercise of spending some time in that alpha state, in that meditative alpha state, thinking about that question, you are going to get these amazing insights and these amazing opportunities of something that could very well be the best content idea that you ever came up with. So thank you so much for joining me today with this creative process. If you've enjoyed this content about creativity, I hope you'll consider subscribing to this channel. And if you're ready to dig into the deep work of developing your content marketing strategy, I would love to see you subscribe to the Create Your Business program. There's a link below in the show notes. And when you start working through this process, you will stop saying, I'm stuck and I don't know what to do with my marketing messages. And you'll start believing that you'll know what to do when you come up with those marketing messages and actually see results. You will find the words to reach your customers online. Seriously, folks, if a self-study program and a subscription box had a baby, it would be the Create Your Business process. It's content marketing in a box for entrepreneurs who are ready to tap into their creativity so that they never run out of content ideas again. You are magnificent, my friend, and let me be the first to say, I'm proud of you. Until next time.